Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that they're all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming. You know, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Good morning, everyone. Let me straighten my screen here a little bit. My name is Laura Armstrong. I am the CEO and founder of Leadership with Laura. I teach leadership and communication, and it's something I'm very passionate about because in my whole life, I've always been a bit of a leader and a trailblazer, and I really want to pass on what I know to others because some of it may help. And some of it may give you the focus that you're looking for. So I'm just very grateful to be here this morning, and many thanks to Barbara Beckley and the Diamond Factor Experience. So today we're going to talk about a couple things. So the first one is how to identify upcoming leaders, not just in yourself, but in others you may be working with. And the second part is what do you need to be what are the characteristics you need to be the go-to leader? Because I think that a lot of the time we don't think we're leaders because we don't have people to lead, right? But actually people are watching you, right? You're leading by just being here. You're leading every time that you open your mouth and you speak to someone. You're leading every time you take an action in your business or your life, right? Because we all depend on each other to learn and grow and shift, right? So we're always leading in some form or another. And I really want to strike home with that, because I think a lot of the time people think leadership has to be some big thing and it's unattainable and, ooh, I'm not a leader because then I'm responsible for people. Actually, leadership is all about you first, right? So I want to talk about a few ways to identify yourself as a leader, or others that you're working with as leaders. There's a couple means. Well, there's a few. So the first one we're going to talk about is there are assessment tools. I use Bank, which is an effective communication tool. Bank is probably one of the best ones that I've ever seen. And I've taken a lot of assessments, and I like it because it's short, it's quick, it's to the point, and it's really about uh, being more effective in your communication and speaking to people's values. Because if someone's not hearing your message, then it's lost. Or only one type of personality is hearing the message, right? But if you can speak in all languages, then you've really got something going on here. So not only will they hear your message, but also if you listen and get out of your own head, you're going to be able to hear theirs. So assessment tools are key. Bank is the one that I use. It's useful for identifying high potential people, right? So a lot of people who are leaders are actions or blueprints, because they're very organized. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So before choosing an assessment, you have to you have to think about what you want out of the leadership role. That's why I use bank, because it can be used across all roles, right? So it's just a very personalized thing. The next thing I want to talk about is focusing on potential, not performance. I mean, sure, performance is a measure of ability and expertise and necessary to identify leaders or become a leader, but you need to look beyond that to understand someone's desire, their aptitude to grow, develop others, cast a vision, communicate superbly, like we were just talking about, build a team and influence all levels of, what they're doing and the people that they're around. So a lot of the time, potential can be untapped and you're unaware of it. I'll give you, for instance, when I'm working on with teams of people and we go around and we talk about the things that we like outside of what we're currently doing, there's a lot of untapped potential there because maybe someone's great at marketing and we didn't know that, right? Here we are hiring a marketer when we have someone whose talent we could be using, right? And supporting them in that way, right? So once you do that, you'll find that though the people where you're focusing on potential, they're going to start showing a little bit more high performance. They're not just out to be leaders, right? Um, just really think about what the potential is and what you're looking for in that. But I believe in working with people so that they can tap into their potential and beyond, because I think that having potential is one thing, but actually taking action on it is completely another. The next one I want to talk about is evaluating your high potential people on coaching skills, right? So that's really an interesting point because culture can be expressed, in whatever organization, in the principles of how everybody works together. Like it really does bring to the forefront like what we're about, what we do. And I think that coaching, is a leadership competency. Sorry, I'm having a morning this morning. And you want to be really good at this, right? And so there are so many coaching programs out there. Really, in the end, it's whatever fits for you. And are people coachable is the other question. Are they coachable? Because if they're not and their cup's already full, you're wasting your time. So for me, I go through phases in my life. I remember a time when I wasn't coachable, right? And so I just kind of struggled through everything. And then, your ego can tend to take over there, right? So it's something to think about, right? You want to develop coachable people to be leaders, right? Especially millennials. They will gravitate towards coaches who will lead them to success, right? So you should always have a mentor. I have mentors, right? No matter how high we think we are or low we think we are, we should always have someone. There's always someone above us, right? There's always someone above us, right? And they've always, other people always have more wisdom, right? So listen and get the right people in place for coaching, right? And this is going to help you to evaluate your high potentials, right? Next would be, how invested are they in what they're doing, right? They'll display like a high degree of interest in what they're doing. They're gung-ho. It's passion for them. Like they believe in it, and they believe in engaging in everything about that, right? So they want to be involved in the plans and the strategy. They're all in. They're invested in the future of what's going on. right, in their business and in their leadership. So a couple questions that you can ask here is, do they proactively contribute good ideas and propose strategies for improving the workplace, growing the business, streamlining everything? Like, have they basically got themselves invested in what's going on, and are they showing up, right? And do they show interest above and beyond getting results on behalf of the team and the organization, not just themselves? So if you're getting a yes to any of those, then they probably got the makings of a future leader. Okay. And I really like this next point. It's all about, in your group and in your leadership, if you're working with that, use your own in-house talent. I kind of referred to this in the other point, right? Like, creating, an in-house leadership development program is a great way to evaluate and identify your potentials further down the path. And I'm working with a company right now that's doing this. I'm creating a leadership program for them. And so they, when we talk about that, I say to them, don't expect all 2,000 people to invest in this. Your leaders or your would-be leaders or your potentials will invest in this. Those are the first ones we're going to go. Those are the hot market, right? They want the leadership, they want the training, they want to move to the next level, right? So those are the ones you work on first. And then you offer something that just say, not sure about leadership. Let's talk about that. What's holding you back, right? And so have a workshop on that, right? So then you're opening the door to people who didn't think it was available to them. So those are your warmer market, right? And that's going to take you a long time. That can end up being a lot of leaders, but you're going to see the same consistent people. And then what you do is you teach them how to fish. You teach them how to build leaders so that you're not always building on the first line of leaders, right? Like you're just not going to be able to do it. It's going to get so big, right? So you really want to teach people how to fish and lead, right? So they can help be leaders of leaders as well, right? And do it in-house. A lot of that is there and you don't realize the potential for it. When I'm building teams or, I'm seen as the go-to person, like I spot my leaders and I put things out there that are going to get the potentials to step into leadership, even if they don't realize it at the time, right? So it's just something to think about. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? This subject is pretty good. I could go on for a few days about this. All right. So, the next thing I want to talk about here is when you're looking for leaders, you want to look for people who actually want results and want to step into action, right? So look for leaders who are driven to achieve beyond expectations. And I don't mean just yours, I mean their own and everyone else's, right? To me, expectations are just premeditated disappointment. So I kind of want to, replace that word, with goals, like their own goals, their own desires, right? So they want to move beyond that, right? So how big can they be? The first sign is the passion that we talked about for whatever they're doing, right? It's going to show up. They're always going to be the excited one, right? Some advice like seek out creative challenges, love to learn, right? Like I'm a learner, but it has to be something that is going to connect with me, something that is in alignment with what I do, right? And take pride in a job well done. I taught a class last night and it was really kind of like a non-structured class because it was all about the people in the class. So I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know the questions that were going to be asked, but I was willing to be the space and give my expertise on what I did know, right? And I think that, sometimes we have to step into that and take action because people really want the authentic you. They want the emotional connection to you. It's not a transactional world for leaders anymore. You have to be emotionally connected to what you're doing, the people you're working with, and your leadership, because really it's all about people in the end. Okay. The other thing I want to say about this is that leaders, potential leaders, display an unflagging energy to do things better. They're the ones who like, oh, really? Like, again, you're always energized, right? But really, they're always eager to explore new approaches to their work. And this is one thing that I love to talk about because, and that's going to lead me into my next sentence. you want to look for emotional intelligence when you're looking at. So what is emotional intelligence? Well, there are a lot of definitions out there. The one thing that I think we can kind of say about it, that's kind of like a, if you want to say one thing, it's the ability to empathize and develop empathy when you're interacting with others. So seeing things from more of a distance, from more of a point of view, where you're not attached to what's going on, so that you can make the right decisions. You can be more introspective. And emotional intelligence has become a bit of a buzzword, but I don't think a lot of the time people realize how important it is, right? If you can see signs of EQ in your potential leaders, that's like golden, right? So do they exhibit those traits? So some ways to think about that or notice, I'll give you a few here. The first one is they communicate well and they express their feelings clearly and directly. Like there's no hidden agenda, right? Their thoughts aren't dominated by negative emotions like fear, worry, hopelessness, and victimization. They're the ones who embrace change, right? In a different way than we're used to doing on this earth, right? They're like, what's going to happen here, right? So let's see what happens and then we'll move from there. The next, number 3, is they have a high degree of self-awareness, and they ask questions like, why do the same issues keep coming up over and over here? What am I not learning? What do I need to do to change that? Okay. They also assess and process a situation carefully from all angles. That, they drill down until they get to the root of the matter. They don't deal with the symptom, they deal with the actual problem. Okay. And that's where you can actually have real change, when you're looking at the core of the problem. And you know what? When you dig down, sometimes you've probably put a lot of drama and trauma around it, so it's become this huge thing. But really, when you drill down and you get to the point, it can be a lot simpler to deal with than you think. But because we built it up in our minds, and we're very good at doing that, we've made it much bigger than it probably is. I'm not downplaying things, but really have a realistic look at it. Okay. And lastly, they're not motivated by power, wealth, status, fame, or approval. Okay. They are instead intrinsically motivated and humble enough to always do the right thing. If it doesn't feel right, they don't do it. Okay. When something is not right. And we've all had that experience of doing something that wasn't right. And you're like, afterwards, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. Right. But the beauty is that you can always recover from that. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just move forward and learn your lesson, and then move into a greater space. Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about here when we're talking about the subject is evaluate them for resilience, right? Resilience is only found after you can accept failure, right? It really is like the core of your toughness. Like what are you made of, right? So accept failure and try again a different way, because we all know that to do the same thing over and over again with the same results is just the definition of insanity, right? And you don't want to do that. You want a different result. You want a different way, right? So Thomas Edison said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up, right? How true is that, right? Resilience should be a measurable trait. So look for a mindset that will always explore and diagnose why the same issue keeps coming up over and over again. And finally, if you have leaders or high potentials who make exceptional leaders, they may not know it themselves. Don't thwart their development. Help them become more aware of their unique skills and bring out their strengths and talents so they can accelerate their development. We need more leaders in the world. We need people who are leading us in the right way, with empathy and compassion and understanding, and yet making the door available to coaching and learning so that people can move into the next level of themselves. And that's why I think this is so important. And the second thing I wanted to talk about today, and I'm not going to get through all of these because we're restricted a bit on time, are some skills that you need to be a successful leader. So I'm just going to go through these kind of quickly. So the first one is effective communication. We kind of talked about that. Communication is, the ability to get your point across for leaders in a constructive way so that people will reflect on what you're saying, right? Effective communication, as I said, using the bank methodology has made me so much more powerful in so many ways. And it is at the base of everything that we do. When you're building a house, you build from the basement up. You don't build from the top down. Build your communication skills and everything else will follow. They're proactive, right? So a successful leader doesn't wait for things to happen. They make things happen. They anticipate the desired results. They identify threats and they take action against them. And they're constantly thinking of ways to improve, better. Like, whether it's a business related goal or personal, they always want more. They want better. The third one is the ability to motivate. Good leaders and managers inspire people to do better and motivate those around them. The fire in their belly comes from the passion and pride to be the best at what they do and achieve more than they ever expected, you know. And the next one is organization. And this is a key point and not my strongest, but I've gotten pretty good at it, right? Organizational skills are crucial in leadership, especially if you're scaling your business to the next level. You need it. You can't move without it, right? So if it's not a strong point for you, bring in the people who are the strength. Bring in the people who can organize you. Get those systems and structure and all those processes in place that you need to, right? If you lack this quality, reach out to others, right? Because organization is key and you must have it to not only be productive, but successful. The next is confidence. And I love talking about this because I have great confidence and I want everyone else to as well, because I think that this is an important role because people will look at you on how you behave. Okay. Particularly when things are, kind of not going your way, right? If you remain calm and confident in all situations, um, people are going to mirror that, right? So your behavior, like think about the people you work with. I mean, I trained in martial arts for many years. When you're teaching, your students are mirroring you. So what are you doing? Make sure that it's right. Make sure it's done the right way, done with confidence, because if you're not sure, they're not going to be sure. Okay. The next is being analytical, which I am not. So this is also one of the key characteristics of a good leader. You'll be able to make correct decisions and solve problems effectively. I do that really well. I've had to learn to be analytical and look at things from perspective, and I've gotten really good at it, right? I can still always be better. So, analytical skills often prove vital in navigating through situations. And if you're struggling with uncertainty or doubt, it can actually, being analytical about it can give you kind of like that boost of um, putting you back on the right track because you're assessing the situation not from an emotional perspective, right? Because it's the emotional perspective that can drown you, right? And you don't want that. You want to just raise above it and just kind of look down on it and just get the information. The next is decision making. So, being able to make decisions quickly and correctly is an effective skill for a leader, right? You have to decide what's the best action to take against a specific problem. You want to make it time effective as well, so that it's not something that is going to take a long time to resolve. So, you have to be on that, right? Um, Creative thinking, creativity. So, creative thinking skills are essential when it comes to leadership roles. You need to be able to think outside of the box and come up with new and innovative ideas at any given moment. Like I just told you about the class that I taught, like I didn't know what was going to happen in that class. So, you can always encourage the people or the leaders that you're working with to come up with new ideas. It doesn't have to be all about you, right? And this can contribute to their overall growth of their business and their leadership. The next one here is very important, delegation. When you're really passionate about a project, it's very difficult to let go of certain tasks and hand them over, right? You cannot be the expert of everything. It just can't. You just don't have the time or the capacity as a human being. However, if you've got the right partners and you know where people's strengths lie, you'll be able to get the best qualified people that you need for the job to complete it. And also delegation is seen as a very high leadership skill. It means that you have trust in the people that you work with and that you're willing to you know acknowledge them for the experts that they are. And I think that this is so key, because I think a lot of the time we can tend to micromanage things. And as a leader, as you're moving up, you're not going to have time for that, right? So you need the right people in the right place. Okay. So next is there are so many here. I'm not going to be able to get through them all. Is flexibility. A good and effective leader is adaptable to unexpected situations and problems. Being flexible will allow you to pick up and drop tasks when needed in order of priority. Things are changing on a constant basis. And being flexible with the people that you're working with as well is important, right? You'll be way more respected if you offer them more flexibility, a good work-life balance, right? They want to enjoy coming to work. I mean, I worked in corporate for 21 years and I was stuck in a job that I didn't like, and I didn't even realize I didn't like it, right? And I never had one time someone say, well, are you happy what you're doing in 21 years? Right? It's just you showed up to work, you made your money. Like that was it, right? So there are so many of these that I could go to, but I'm going to have to wrap up for right now. But one last one that I want to talk about is problem solving. As a person of power, you'll need to solve a number of issues that arise daily. And this could be, for your client or a personal manager, whatever the situation, you have to think quickly, right? And logically. Don't allow emotion to take over. And that, because that can alter your ideas, and it can just take you off the tracks. Leaders are recruited and trained and chosen to solve organizational problems and take advantage of opportunities. They're the ones who are the action takers. So whatever gets you into action is going to be key to these great leadership points. So look out for them. There are many more. I just covered a few today. So that's it for today. My name is Laura Armstrong. I am a leadership accelerator communication expert. My company is leadershipwithlaura.com. You can reach me at laura@leadershipwithlaura.com. Please take advantage of my free 3-day leadership challenge. You can go to leadershipwithlaura.com/3daylc and enjoy that. Yeah, I'd love to have you take that, and I'd love to hear your comments. I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a great day and see you soon.
Hello, everybody. This is Barbara J. Beckley. I just love moving to music. How are we doing today? You are here in the right place. Yes, Barbara Beckley J. Beckley. I am going to be moving forward, giving you some visibility and social media tips, ways to really just show up and show out in your business. So I want to really hone in on some things just for you. just for you and your business. Now, you could take some of these principles if you're doing something on a personal level project or maybe a non-for-profit or what have you, but I'm really honing in a lot more on, how are you showing up? Expand your impact. How are you expanding your impact to the world when it comes to your business? And I know a lot of times people are like, what do I do? Where do I start? I have a business, I have a product, I have a service, but how do I move it so people can see what I do? And not just only see what I do, is know that it will help them in some kind of capacity. Now, the question is always said when you're talking about your avatar, as they say, or your potential client, and you have to make sure that you're listening to their what? Their pain points, their challenges, what is their interest, you name it. And I want to get a little bit into that today, but that's the biggest thing that you have to think to yourself: what product, what service will help somebody move from here to here in their life? From dealing with, whatever they're dealing with, if it was, confidence level, if their confidence is not, to now they move into their full of confidence. They can get on platforms, they can speak, they can talk to anybody. Does your product solve that challenge or that pain point? And that's what you have to ask yourself in anything you're doing with your services and products. And this goes to when you're doing interviews, when you're doing podcasts for your business, when you're in the social media. Yes, the social media. Some people call it the jungle, the jungle of social media. But there's a way to get through it, and it's called being strategic in what you're doing. Setting your goals, knowing your avatar, knowing your products and what they do for them. So I want to start, I always tell people when I'm talking to people about, social media and visibility, one thing you have to understand: knowing the goal, knowing what goal you have. Now, I want to take a little time out to share that within the benefits of social media, there's really 4 main goals. A lot of time people they get in social media, they create a LinkedIn page or a Facebook page, and then they put all their information because somebody told them to do it. And the next thing you know, they're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? Where what do I need to do to move forward, to engage with people? People know who I am. How do I get followers? Well, you need to know, first of all, what the benefit. You got to back up a little bit before you even start that phase. Or even if you already have platforms out there, this is the time to do an audit. This is the time to look at your platforms and say to yourself, what's going on? What numbers do I have? Why did I even put this out here? Does people understand who I am, what I do, and what I provide? So you first want to go back and say, way at the beginning, take yourself way back and ask yourself the benefits. What are the benefits of social media, right? I'll give you a hint. Like I said, there's 4 on the screen, but think about it. Social. That's the biggest word in that. Social media. And when you think of social, I want you to think of building relationships. Building relationships. You are building a relationship with your potential clients, with your potential business partner, even with potential partners. You never know what's going to come out of it. But you have to think in your mind that this is a relationship building tool. And it's not, okay, people are going to be like, what? Yes, this is not the be all of your marketing capacity for your business. This is a tool. Social media platforms are a tool for your business. So let's talk about the benefits a little bit. First is to increase your brand recognition. You are increasing your brand recognition. You are increasing your visibility to people know who you are, what you do, what you're about. And the biggest thing with that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later, is giving and making sure that you're always giving great content, great value for the people, the audience that are listening to you. Second, learn about your audience. You are learning about who is out there. It's like I always call it social listening. You're listening while you're looking how people tag, how people put the thumbs up, the hearts, the hugs, whatever they're sending in certain comments. You're listening to the people talk to you within the social media world to see if those are potential people that you can help and create an impact. So that's how you learn your audience and you find where they're hanging out at. Then third, engage with your audience. Okay, there's one thing to learn and know where they are. It's another thing to talk to them. To talk to them. Just look at this as even if it was a one-on-one situation or relation that you had that you just met somebody for the first time. Now, when I say hello to an individual and I get crickets back, does that make any kind of sense? Think about it. If I say hello, and I know sometimes like this happen, it's kind of sad because sometimes it does happen in person. You know, if you're one-on-one, like you're engaging with each other, you're like, hello, and you're thinking you're going to hear hello back. But then it's like, hello, crickets. Good morning. How are you doing? I have to hope everything's okay. And you're still hearing crickets. Well, that happens on a consistent basis sometimes that I see on social media when people put their post out. They put a post out. They did this awesome, incredible graphics for their posts. I mean, they really thought through. And they put a question up there. They ask you a question. And then they sit back and they say, okay, I hope I will get some engagement here. And all you get is a thumbs up, or you get the heart, or you get silence or no comments. And the person that put the post up, they're like, well, what happened? In a sense, that's come almost like that hello that you were trying to get out, and nobody's not saying hello back. So see how important it is to engage with your audience, and they need to, hopefully they engage with you. If they see that you're talking to them, most of the time they will talk back to you. They will talk back. But if you don't say anything, and if you don't recognize that they're trying to engage with you, then there's a problem. That's the challenge right there. And I'm going to give you a little hint. I do little hints here and there when I'm talking about the whole visibility of social media. So let's do hint one for today. Hint one, when you post something in your Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and you have emoji, and they just clicked on the emoji with the heart emoji or the smiley emoji, there's a way that you can hover over that one emoji, if it's a heart, and it will list the people that hit that particular emoji. Yes. And guess what? They're engaging in a way, not so much of putting a comment, but they're engaging in a way of saying, hey, I like this post. Especially if they got the thumbs up. And if they put a love, oh my God, if they hit the heart, that means they really liked your post. And think about this. They took the time out, as the word of a century, I'm always busy, but they took the time out of their busy day to come to that post that you put up there and click on the emoji. Now you're probably saying, well, I wanted a comment. Yes, that would be awesome. But clicking the emoji helps too. It's a part of engaging for them, because in their mind, that's the fastest way that they can still say, you know what? I did hit something. I did like it. I did show some type of interest in this post. So what you would have to do is basically say to yourself, I need to show some interest in them. So when you hover over that emoji and you see the names, you can put in the comment, thank you, such and such, whatever that person's name is. Thank you for taking the time out to look at my post. If you need anything or have any questions, regarding, anything that I'm talking about within this post or whatever, please, reach out to me. So now they know that you took the extra time now, since they took the time out to get on your post and hit the emoji, you're taking time out now to reverence that. So that's engaging with your audience. That's a little tip. A lot of people don't think about that. They just look at, okay, there's 5 or 7 or 10 or 14 or 15 people that just hit the heart. But you have that other thing that you could hover and see the names. See, that's nice to see those names and you can engage with them. Now, sometimes people might not want to be put on the spot. I get it. And in a comment, what you can do. There's a second thing you can do with that. You can messenger them. You can messenger them and say, hey, I see that you said like or heart to the post that I posted. I just want to let you know I'm here if you're interested in any kind of content that I was talking about. It would be so nice to, keep reaching, to reach out to you, or we can have, a virtual coffee meeting, 50, well, whatever, how your business works, you want to do that. So that's something that you're engaging with your audience. And then the fourth benefit of social media is building a community, building that community that you're looking for. And you're saying to yourself, okay, those really come in those Facebook groups that you have. You can build those type of communities. If it's a private community, that's you just have certain individuals that you want in that group that you want to talk to in that group, or you can have an open group and have people with like-minded issues that you're looking for. Remember, you're kind of trying to tap into that social listening where you're looking for those potential clients, business partners, and partners and friends. So you want to try to build the community. So those are like the four main social media benefits that you have. Now, I always tell people after you find out that we know the social media benefits, we want to talk about goals. We want to talk about goals. And I tell people all the time, this is that strategic mind that's working right now. You're working with the fact that, okay, I understand now a little bit more about how social media work far as the benefits. Now, what kind of goals do I want to create for my business regarding social media? Well, there's 8 different kind here. Some of them go and entwine with each other, but really you want to kind of think of what is my marketing efforts? What do I want to focus on? As again, what's that word, busy. So you want to make sure that you're honing in on something and working at that particular goal. So you have to be a squirrel moment. You know the squirrel moment. Oh, you're over here, then you're over there, then you're over here again, then you're over there. And then by the time you get all the way back to the middle, you're like, okay, well, what did I do? What was I doing? So it's squirrely. You squirreled. I do it. I know a lot of people probably do it. So we try to avoid the squirrel moment. So there's 8 certain social media goals ideas that you can have in your mind when you're thinking about your business. Increasing your brand awareness, just really honing in on increasing what people know about your brand, not about your colors and your fonts, but know about what you are, your mission, what you're trying to accomplish. What do you do? What are your products and services? What do you believe in? What things out there that you are really trying to explore to create that impact. Then you can do number 2, drive traffic to your website. So I always tell people social media, well, again, it's a tool. It's a tool. So you want to drive people from that to your website or your lead magnet, as I say, something that's going to build that relationship even more off-site of the social media platforms. But you can use, again, your post social media as a tool to get them to your website. Then number 3, generate new leads. Maybe you're looking for, like I said, new type of clients or new type of business associates. So you can generate new leads, reverse some things with your brand, do something different, play some different kind of videos, ask some different kind of questions, whatever you're trying to do, but you're trying to generate new leads, especially when it comes to the beginning of your business. That's what you might want to do, what you really want to hone in on and have those goals. Then number 4, grow revenue, sign up or sales. You're trying to make some money now. You trying to grow revenue. And this particular goal really hones in, like, say, if you have a certain workshop that you just starting or in the midst of, or if you have a webinar, maybe you have a book sale, an ebook, what have you, and you're trying to grow your revenue with your services. That's where you just want to hone in on things related to that. Always remember, just a side note again, tip number 2 that I have tips. A side note is You want to make sure no matter what, before you start selling and putting your products out there, you still want to always be building that relationship with people. You still want people to get to know who you are, what you do, and how you do it, because people will buy from people with the, that they like and they trust and they have a relationship with. A lot of times you hear that, and it's so true. There's a lot of people that I work with right now that, because of the relationship that I built with them, and because they see me in different areas, they're like, Barbara, I trust you more. I know you now. I feel like I've been knowing you for a while now. You've been talking about visibility. You've been talking about shine like a diamond. You've been talking about having your own purpose. I know you and I want to work with you. That's what you want to do with those potential clients. You want them to know that they can trust and like you, and that you know what you're talking about, and that you're the expertise in that area. Okay. Then boost brand engagement. Boost brand engagement. It's a little bit different. It's one thing to increase awareness when you're adding more stuff on your branding. When you're trying to boost your engagement, that means that you're engaging even more with your potential clients and people that are out there. You're doing the little things like reaching out in Messenger. You're doing the things like collecting their names and putting some things out there that can collect their emails and get a lead magnet. So you're boosting that brand engagement. Then number 6, as we said, far as one of the social media benefits, building a community, if it's private or if it's open. A lot of times what people do is they will open up a group within Facebook, and it might be private, and they might have that as an add-on extra when they do their workshops or their webinars. Oh, by the way, I have this webinar I'm talking about, boom, boom, boom. And with this webinar, you also get an extraordinary pass or membership in my private Facebook group, where there's like-minded people just like you, learning and growing, that I will be filtering in a lot of information regarding this particular subject we've been talking about today. See? So you have that webinar workshop that you did, and then on top of that, you're giving them something extra, and you're building your community when you built that private Facebook group. So that's a good way to use Facebook groups, is to build those communities. But always remember, tip number 3, I told you there's tips through this. You want to make sure that eventually that you pull them, even though they're staying in that community and they're talking and they're getting to know each other, you want to give them some some lead page or your website or something that they can put their email address in. And then you can start basically send them nurturing emails to make sure and build that rapport even more. So if something happens like what the last month, when Facebook and Instagram and some others just shut it down for 5 or 6 hours, you're not sitting there trying to figure out, oh my God, where's my community? Oh yeah, it's shut down because Facebook is shut down. You don't want that to happen. That's why you have to have that. Okay, it's a tool and you're pulling them from there. Okay. Number 7, increase press mentions. What that means, if you are noted doing a podcast with somebody, being on a program, having some testimonials from anybody, any kind of third party type of information, you want to add that to your social media. That gives you more credibility. People are getting to know, wait a minute, not just Barbara's just not saying how awesome she is. There's other people saying how awesome Barbara is. The other person, they're not just so awesome, just saying they're awesome, but other people are telling your viewers, telling your audience that you are tremendous and incredible and amazing. So you want to increase that. So you want to start getting your testimonials. You want to start asking people, can they do recommendation for you? You want to start, magazines that you might have been in, talk show, radio shows you've been in. Get the little clips. See if you can get copies of that. All that you can use in your social media to build credibility. And that builds what? That goes into increasing your branding awareness. Okay. It hits all home for all those other goals. And then last but not least, 8, social listening. Always listening to what people are saying and commenting on your posts. Take into account when they say certain things, if they like certain things, if they don't like certain things, then I better not post stuff like that anymore. That didn't really resonate with them. So that gives you an idea, first of all, of what content, yes, another tip, what content to post out there, what's working and what's not working. Okay. So those are some of the goals that you want to take upon when you are working in your social media world or your visibility to promote your business. So those are some of the goals. So what did we say? We said first, understanding the social media benefits. Talked about that. Then you want to talk about what goal. So you set a goal. Okay, I want to increase my branding awareness. Okay, good. We got that goal. Now we have to make sure that we understand what? That we understand who we are really going towards. Who is our main client? Who is our avatar? Who is that? Who is our avatar? And your ideal client clarity. You want to clarify who is your client. One ideal client, current client, past clients, people outside of your current client. You want to identify, you want to be clear on what your client, who is your client? The core problem, what challenges show up in your ideal client's world? What are they not? They're just not getting rest. It's like they wake up thinking about it. They go to sleep trying to figure it out. What kind of pain problems? And then what solution, what unique process that you solve for that ideal client? What do you do to help them move from one extreme to the next, to what they're trying to resolve in their lives? What do you do? So you want to think about that, or if you have that already, sometimes you have to revise that or revisit that. I know in one of my, workshops, I thought that everybody that signed up for the workshop was clear about their avatar, was clear about the person that, their potential client that they're looking for, that they want to serve. Come to find out, it wasn't so clear. And some people were in business for 3, 4, 5 years and like, Barbara, I didn't even think about this. You know what? I think I'm missing the mark here. I think I have some, I need to relook at some things and see who is my particular client. Who do I serve? Maybe I serve some different kind of people. I think I'm missing the mark here. So that told me that I needed to go back. Yes, I needed to go back and we need to talk about that, because if you don't understand who your client is or what product that you can serve them, then that's going to be a problem. And that's what I was telling my wonderful, wonderful people that were in the training, is that no, you have to make sure that you understand your potential client. And we mapped out their avatar. So we went in different sections. Excuse me. We were talking about different sections where you have to understand who they are, like what age group. You want to understand, if you're serving men and women or just men. What kind of interests do they have? What do they think about? What do they like to do? Are they, just a stay-at-home person, or do they like being adventure? Do they like to learn new skills? Or are they kind of like, I'm here and there with skills? Are they a learner? Do they learn real quickly? Do they learn by sight or do they learn by audio? That's some things. See, all this stuff tells you, okay, these might be my potential clients that I have a service and product for them. Then you got to understand what their pain points are. What are they paying for? What do they think about every day? What, like I said, what is just really bugging them to get that rest every night? And what product that you can serve to give them? And then you want to know what their obstacles are. How much money, not so much exactly how much money, but what's the ballpark? Because think about it. If you know what their financial situation is to a certain extent, or what they make, then you know if they can afford your product or not. If you're selling a product for your coaching package for maybe $5,000, and they might make, they might do just an overall average of maybe 75K or under, that might be a struggle for them. So then you have to think about what kind of products can I create that I have for this person, that they might not be able to get the high-end product, but they might be able to get the smaller one where it's kind of done that they have to do themselves, but they still get that quality and that value from you to helping them move forward and what their challenges are. So then you need to know that. So when you know what, you know the benefit, you pick your goal, you know your avatar, the person that you're looking for, and know all those aspects of it. And then you have to learn the platforms of social media. That means you're going to have to do just a little bit more research on that. A little bit more research on that. You need to understand what platforms might fit into what avatar you're looking for. It's like you're saying, okay, I have this avatar. She's a woman between the ages of 45 and 50. I want she's a learner, a self-learner. She needs more information when it comes to social media. Now, this is my avatar I'm describing. Social media or just visibility. She wants to get on different platforms, but she doesn't know how to do it and where to go, or even know how to relate or talk about her business. She needs that information. So she's on maybe Facebook. So that I come along and I'm like, oh, that is my avatar. That's the person. I named my avatar. Her name is Carmen. So every time I see a Carmen, I'm like, yay. And Carmen's like, okay, I'm over here hanging in Facebook. So what I need to do, I need to have my Facebook business page or my Facebook page together for Carmen. Carmen comes over, and next thing you know, we are together and we're talking and we're engaging, and eventually Carmen's going to see some value that I have and want to basically, we build a relationship of understanding each other. She understands what I do. She understands what I could probably do for her. And next thing you know, we're talking. And then she becomes my potential client. That's where the research comes. So I want to leave you with this, is no matter what today, summary that I'm going to say is what? First, you understand the social media benefits. Second, you know the certain social media goals that you want to strive for. Third, you want to make sure that your products, your services, what you are, that you're offering is going to be for your potential client. Fourth, understanding your avatar, understanding who that you're serving, and understand their pain points, their challenges, what they're about, what age group, what demographics, all that you're looking for. And then fifth, you want to start understanding the platforms out there that will go towards who your avatar is. This has been amazing. This is my first, and I can't wait to give you so much other tips and information when it comes to expanding your impact. So every Thursday, just to let you know, I will be coming on talking about expanding your impact, dealing with, the social media jungle, dealing with how to go out there and be a part of a TV streaming show as a host, dealing with podcasts. It's just going to be a whole lot of things. And then the biggest thing that I just wrap it up in a bow, I always talk about purpose. So you got to start off with that. And I feel like once you understand your purpose, I told myself as a visibility and social media strategist, I wanted to make sure once a person finds out their purpose and I help them, just gather a little bit with that we had to make them visible. We had to make people know and think of who they are. So I just want to let you know that this particular show that's going to come on every Thursday under the Diamond Factor Experience Show, that we will be talking more about that so we can get you shining like that diamond. That's what I want for you. I want you to shine like that diamond. And if I could just be a little piece of that to help you move through that and get through those things and just make you this, then I feel like I did my job. So again, I want everybody to understand, just tune in right here at 8:00 Central Time every Thursday, and I will be here to explain, give you some wisdom on top of that. And also, if you are interested, I'm just putting this out a shout out, if you are interested in coming on the Expand Your Impact show with Barbara Beckley, I will be so happy and delighted that you came on. And I would appreciate it if you just, tag me or messenger me through Facebook and we can have that talk, okay? Because what it's all about, expanding your impact. You take care, and I will see you next week. Bye.
I'm hanging on your every word. The love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste